what we were saying. We could complain, but why?
Yeah, what would that do? What does that do?
Oh, what did I do? Ah, well, no. Hi, it's 2025. Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, we're here. Woohoo! Someone's celebrating. We're all so happy to be here. It's Watch Me Work. We're the same as it ever was, but better because it's 2025 and it's the 6th of January. It's so many people celebrate this day for many reasons. I celebrate this day because this is Top Dog Day. Woohoo! So it's Top Dog Underdog Day and it's 2025 and we're gonna do what we do. Every time we get together, we're going to work together for 20 minutes and then we're going to talk with you about your work and your creative process. So if you have a question after our work session, and you would like to get in touch and talk about, your work and your creative process, Zoe in New Work Development is going to tell you how to do that. You can do that?
Hi everyone, happy new year. So great to see everyone again on this year of the snake. It's 2025, just FYI. Um so after our 20-minute work session, if you have a question, please use your raise your hand function down at your react button at the bottom of your screen. It's under the little heart. If you click react, there's a raise hand function. So please go ahead and use that so we can get a nice and orderly queue going. That way we can call on your name and you can ask your question.
Thank you, Zoe. We're sending love to the Public Theater, to New Work Development Department, to HowlRound, who they've been supporting us all these years for like 15 or 16 years now. Lord have mercy, we've been doing this for so long. And hopefully we've gotten some work done. And if not, here's your chance. Here we go. Woo! All right, that's 20 minutes. Woo. Okay, so here's the time when we gather around the campfire and hear from you about your questions about your work and your creative process. If anybody has a question, we can get started. Hi, Andrea.
Hi. I'll say it's that very thing, getting started. That's the word you just used. And I think that that's sometimes the place of paralysis that forbids me from getting started. This is my first time doing this, so forgive me if I'm not sure exactly how to proceed, but I guess for me, I'm in a place with my project where it's a documentary theater project that I've been building through interviews. And I think the framing device that I want to move forward with is where I'm stuck, and it keeps me from moving forward. So the question is just keep going, right? I mean, I'm kind of answering my question, but is it just keep going and you'll find that framing device? I don't know. That's about what I want to say.
Is your name Andrea?
Andrea.
Andrea.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrea. Happy New
Hi.
Happy
It's
New
an
Year.
honor.
I
Happy
love
New
it
Year.
that you're the first question in the new year, and your question is about getting started. I love it when that happens. Well done. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's fantastic. Oh boy. So how do we get started? Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, have you ever written a documentary theater piece before?
I have not. I've
Great.
been doing
Okay, go.
interviews though for several years. So I have all of this like research and material, and it's sort of like been sitting with it for a very long time. I need to move forward, get started, so to speak.
Yeah, well, you've already started. That's the good news is, I'm sorry, now I'm going to say your name wrong again. Andrea?
And Andrea, like Andrea McCardle.
Like Andrea McCardle.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, now I'll always remember it. I don't know who Andrea McCardle is, but I'll always remember it.
The original Annie.
Of course.
I
Of
mean, I
course.
come from the musical theater world,
Oh,
so
tomorrow,
I
tomorrow.
guess that's a bit
Tomorrow.
niche.
There we go. No. It's not niche. It's a multi-million dollar industry. I'm kidding. Um, I mean, that's a big ass niche, if you ask me. Um, hey, so it sounds like you've already started, Andrea. That's the good news. So you already know how to get started, right? You started. You did all these interviews. You've been interviewing people for years, right?
Yes.
If you were sitting there going, "Oh, I don't know. I want to do interviews, but I don't know who's the first person to call," you
Right.
would have
Right.
already started then too, Andrea, because you would have made a list of people that you were thinking about calling. So you've already you haven't only just begun. You're far along, darling, and it's too late to turn back now because that's not allowed here. So yeah, how do you go forward? Um, so you're having questions about your framing device. Is that correct?
I mean, I'm a producer, performer, creator, community builder, so I'm not really a playwright. I think it might be a moment when I sort of bring in my creatives, but I sort of also see it as a um yeah, I just sort of I want to be more involved than just planting that seed. So
Well, you have permission. It's
mhm,
2025,
right.
my friend. And if
Yeah.
you're not, hey, some people are allowed to run the country. You're allowed to write if you fucking feel like it, okay? Like, turn that shit around. Like, that shit that going on down, I live in New York, so down in Washington, it's enabling all of us to at least do what we want to do. So
Mhm.
you're allowed to be as creative on this project as you'd like. Now, it might be more, you might be more of a creative than ever before. I use those words in quick because, producers are also creative. So, but
Yeah.
you're allowed to do that. And if your framing device is giving you pause, I would say, I would say try it out. Go forward and write maybe badly for a little
Yeah.
bit, for a
Yeah.
lot, for maybe the first draft.
Just make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might even get elected. Come on.
Yeah. Right?
It's that kind of world, my friend. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So you are
Mhm.
allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
70 million people will think you're doing great.
Mm.
Right? I mean, think of it that way. And that's that's the upside. That's the upside. You're allowed, no, but I'm being serious. You're
No,
allowed,
but
you're
but
allowed,
that's a framing device, right? That's a
yeah,
framing
and
device.
that's all it is.
Let's
That's
all
all
move
it is.
forward with that. Like
That's
this.
all it is. It's a
Yeah.
series of framing devices, and we
Yeah.
must strengthen that ability because framing devices can be one of your superpowers this year. Like, let me take another look at it and see it in a way that's going to help me get through the day.
Yeah.
So that's the
Thank
framing
you.
device today. Like, hey, keep going.
Thank you.
But seriously, you're allowed to be a creative. You're allowed to write an awful draft. Didn't we have a competition last year? I don't know. I think I won, where we said who was going to write the shittiest draft. Didn't we say that? Like, you're going to write your shitty draft? No, or maybe that was just me talking to myself. But I think we did throw it out there, right? Who was going to write the shittiest draft? And everybody, did one. So you're allowed to do one this year. Maybe even
Thank you.
2. You're allowed to do 3. You're allowed to do 5. You're allowed to do as many as you want. Because the draft is going to teach you how to make it better. And the better framing device, if there is one, will come to you. If maybe you've already landed on the best one and all you're lacking is confidence.
Yeah.
You know musical theater. What's that song that Maria sings when she's walking to their house?
I have confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just sing that to myself.
It's a great song. And I think it only happens in the movie. So, yeah. Right? That's a great, but just, and maybe replace your, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. I'm not a creative. I think I should call in my creatives, call in the creatives, but you're one of them. You're here. Look, you're here. I'm one of the creatives on this project. Hey, I've got a framing device. If it's not the best one will appear when I keep working on it. I've got everything I need to figure this out. It's just about that positive self-talk. Okay?
Thank you.
And come back and visit because we're here. We hang
I
out.
will. I'm happy to learn about this.
Welcome. Happy 2025. Woo!
Thank you, Andrea. And hi, Caitlin. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So I am a director. I live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I have decided 2 days ago that next year I'm moving to New York.
Okay.
I'm moving to New York because I want to just harness more opportunities to direct, and do theater too and film and not just be pigeonholed to the crew I have here and the studio system only, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, do you have any advice for, I mean, none of that like saving money stuff. We've got that covered. The survival, we know that.
Good.
But what advice do you have before such a big move?
Hmm. Are you driving or are you flying?
When I move, I'll be fine.
How big is the place you live now?
I have a studio and I'm ready to get rid of all my expensive furniture.
Ooh, you have expensive furniture.
I'm a restoration hardware type of gal.
Nice, very nice. So you're gonna leave all your expensive furniture behind, and you're gonna get expensive furniture over here. No, we have restoration hardware over here. No, 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 no. I think the great thing. I mean, you've been to New York, obviously. It sounds like you love it already. You've fallen in love with New York. Are you from here? Or are you from over there? Where are you from?
Houston, Texas.
Ooh, Eastern Texas. We love that. We love that. Like Houston.
Houston, Texas.
Oh, we've heard of it. It's a lovely place. No, like my whole family's from Texas, so we love Texas. Um, huh. So New York, I think, is more of a hangout place, which is lovely. So treat yourself to hanging out. You know, in New York, we can, I don't know if you drink alcohol, but you could drink alcohol and you don't have to worry about driving yourself home, which is really great. It's a hangout place. It's a place where we rub shoulders with each other, often. Like in the subway. Like in LA, I lived in LA for a while and loved it. But I got in my fancy car, drove to my fancy meeting, got out of my fancy car, went to, you know what I mean? And I never kind of rubbed shoulders with people. New York is a place where you rub shoulders with people and go to see a variety. New York has a variety. I mean, Los Angeles does too, but New York has is its wealth, I think it's in its variety. So we've got Uptown with the movie stars that you've heard about, but we got some cool downtown shit. And you can't beat the downtown shit that New York's got. The off the beaten track stuff that in New York we get value from other places than the marketplace. So embrace that mindset. In LA, it's all about the numbers. How many units? How much did you sell? How much did in New York, it's like that here too, uptown. But there's a whole nother aesthetic that's so much fucking cooler. And embrace the cool shit too in New York,
Mhm.
so but just hang out, go around places and, you know, I don't know. It's a place where you want to mix and mingle. Other than that, I don't know. New York. Does anybody else have anything to say about New York? Like how someone could be transplanted? Yeah. What you got, Sasha? Is that Sasha? Wait, go ahead.
Yes. Um, that's so exciting, Caitlin. I was just thinking, getting on like a mailing list. I love hearing from theaters.
Mm.
Like obviously the public does really cool stuff all the time, and it'll be like stuff you can now kind of go to in person, and there'll be like just like little events. Like a theater once recently had like a sound healing that they did downtown, like in Chinatown, stuff like that, where you can kind of be around theater people, not necessarily sitting at the theater, but that too, like they'll be like showing new works and stuff, readings. That's stuff I love to do.
People coming in with the idea. Someone said a library card.
Thank you.
God, a library card. Yes. Yes, get a library card and go to the library. The one on 42nd Street and Fifth Avenue. Girl, you'll be forever changed. Who else? Sarah, do you have a question? Do you have a suggestion about New York?
I have a suggestion.
Go.
I just want to echo, but sort of elaborate on the rubbing shoulders part. So I lived in the city for an accumulative of 8 years. And the biggest thing I did that cut off my own feet is I was so worried about saving money because I was living on like $25,000 a year because that's what I was making, that I didn't go out. But the reality is if you're like, let's say you're working on a little show and you go out with people, you can go out and you probably already know this, but I'm just saying it because I didn't, which is you don't have to buy the alcohol, you don't have to buy alcohol or anything. You can just sit there and no one cares. And so sometimes that like need to not spend money to do the survival thing gets in your head of like, oh, I can't afford to go out because there's that classic thing of like, in order to leave your apartment, you just pay $20, which is somewhat true sometimes. But this idea of like, that rubbing shoulders is so real. And the only times I got offers outside of my initial circles was because I went out after a show, met some other random person, they call me to be an assistant, like all that stuff sort of builds on top of each other, which is very similar to LA, but this idea of like, you don't get work in your apartment. That's the
Right.
or
Thank you.
Just one more,
is
one thing, and
good.
Timothy might have an idea too, but one thing also in New York, I mean, and this is just my opinion. In New
Mhm.
York, people are for real. So
Yeah,
you're gonna front, leave
get
that.
the fuck out.
Leave that
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. Don't front in New York. Don't front. Don't come all the way here in front. Front in Los Angeles. That's what that's all about. Be real here, or experiment with your own reality, like your own essence, your own authenticity. It's a wonderful place to get in touch with your own authenticity, whatever that is. Timothy, do you have an idea for?
I do. I've lived here my whole life, and
Oh,
yeah, and I put in the comments just walk around, but um, we've lost a lot unfortunately, but there are still a few really amazing downtown theaters. The public, I wanna um uh and go see stuff. I mean, and that's how you'll like meet up with people and bump into like-minded souls. Um, because what everybody, what Sarah and SLP were saying, and others are saying is true, in that, you know, you'll navigate toward your tribe, but uh, that's how you that's how you make the initial steps. Because that was always my thing. It was like, oh yeah, okay, fine. Well, so what do I do when I walk out the door? But that's what I would strongly suggest. I think Theater St. Mark's is still there. I know Theater for the New City is still there. There's
yeah.
places, and just see as much as you can. And it's not super expensive. Certainly not like Broadway. So good
Walk
luck.
places.
Welcome.
Walk
Thank
places.
you.
Walk.
Mhm.
Walk. I left a fancy meeting once in Los Angeles and I thought, I'll walk.
No,
Oh,
you won't.
and I did. They said, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I want to walk. I got an offer to do. I was like, no, I'm not. I mean, am literally a streetwalker, but I'm not a streetwalker. In New York, you can walk places, walk a lot. Okay. By that.
Thank you. Thank you
Jed, did
guys.
you
You're
have
great.
a thought, a comment? Jed, did I see your? No. No, maybe I'm hallucinating. Probably. Did you have another one, Sasha?
I was just thinking about seeing you at Little Island, performing at Little Island. That's a cool park. Isn't that such a cool park?
That's a beautiful park, and it's free.
Yeah,
It's
free.
free.
Has bathrooms.
It has bathrooms.
You have to train for that too,
It
Caitlin.
is. It has really nice bathrooms
Yeah.
and a lot of free stuff.
And cool musicians play there, like SLP.
I know.
Great acoustics, right?
It's a beautiful venue. Great live sound, which is rare for an outdoor venue. So we'll be there this coming summer as well. So yeah. Woohoo. Anybody have any question about work? But that's work. You're gonna move, you're gonna pack your stuff, you're gonna like wear warm clothing. It's cold here. Yeah. Get the puffy, get the down puffy, the North Face. Hey Jed, did you have something? Look at your clouds. I love your clouds.
Yeah, hi Jed, you're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here with all of you. I'm
Oh, you froze, bro.
a little unstable with the internet here. I'm in Zihuatanejo on a writing retreat. So I wanted to suggest that you sign up for, can you hear me? No? Okay. Sign up for something called Theater Extras. For $100 a year, your tickets are $4. You'll see more edgy stuff. I went to concerts, operas, ballets, Broadway shows, off and off Broadway shows. And for $4 a ticket, you can go every night. Worth every penny. There's a few of them. There's a few of them. They're basically seat filling services for shows that either haven't been reviewed yet or have a replacement in the cast. So there's theater extras, there's whatever the Broadway one is, but there's a bunch of them. Just do a search and you'll find them.
Great suggestion.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank you for your advice last session. I put my antenna up a little bit more. And on New Year's Eve, I got a download of a complete story.
Woohoo!
How does a vigilante trans underground railroad sound?
Sounds great. Sounds amazing.
It's raging. I'm like a third of the way through it. It's very exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel really, I feel like I'm juicy right now. This was inspired by an exhibit I went to see at the Oregon Historical Society about transgender settlers in the Western expansion. And I read about a woman named Kathy Williams. She was a freed slave in Missouri. She had no prospects. She changed her name and her gender and became an infantryman, the Buffalo Soldiers. She served in New Mexico for 14 years until she got kicked by a horse and was discovered to be female. She was drummed right out. She reassumed her identity as a woman, married a man, but after 14 years of like having absolute independence, there's no going back with that shit. So I haven't been able to find a way in to tell that story yet, but it fed this other story. So on the flight down, it just was like, wasn't there a bolt of lightning on the Empire State Building and the World Trade Center and the Capitol Building? I think I got one too.
Fantastic.
So thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting. And honestly, the guidance you've given so far to everyone here, this safe space to trade ideas and encourage each other has been absolutely fundamental to building my confidence as a writer. And I'm mimicking your 365 plays. I'm doing a scene a day.
Oh, fantastic.
But I think the takeaway for me is I'm not asking anybody permission for any fucking thing anymore. The most radical thing we can do right now is be making our art. And I'm not going to think about what anybody wants to see. I'm just going to do that.
Excellent.
So thank you for building me up.
Thank you.
I love
Likewise,
you for
right back
that.
at you. Likewise, right back at you, brother.
So I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate it.
We're so proud of you. Woohoo! We're so proud of you.
I know. It's really exciting. So
All right.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jed. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. So I'm not normally a writer per se. I'm a lighting designer, but I recently started teaching as well at a college. And one of the things I do is mentor student lighting designers, and I'm really privileged in that like we do 6 shows a year and they're all student LDs.
Oh, cool.
But prior to working here, I worked at another university and I just mentored one, and I learned a lot in just my small amount of time. And so I want to write up like essentially a pamphlet. I don't want it to be exhaustive, but essentially a pamphlet. But I also am aware that like my point of view is just my point of view. And so I want to ask both people who are at a fairly high level about the mentorship they received that was successful, and then people who are mentors in academic or non-academic programs, what they've found to be successful. But I'm really nervous about sending those emails and wondering if anyone has, I mean, like, I know just send them would be a good start. But I'm wondering if like within that email, I'll explain the thing. And then this question of like, is it helpful to like give a timeline? Is it helpful to like assure them of certain feedback? Like, what is the thing in the email that helps people feel confident in having that conversation with you that doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't want to feel I'm at a really open stage in this process and I'm just looking for other points of view. Should I like make my part first and then ask response or reflection? What do people respond to when asking for interviews? I've never done it.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. How would you conduct the interview?
I mean, ideally, it would be a short conversation. And I think that I don't know. It's sort of a like in that I know what my general structure of like the points are, but I think that what I'm aware of is that there's stuff I don't know, and I was hoping to have it be like a hour or less, maybe even just 30-minute like conversation of like, what are your thoughts? And hoping that people are like me and just naturally verbose. But I don't, what are the different options for conducting an interview?
Well, I think are the people you're going to contact, are they lighting designers that you admire?
Definitely.
Great. I would say in emails, and their emails, but you haven't necessarily hung out with these people.
A lot of them I have, and then some of them are like 1 degree away.
Great. So lead with how much you admire them and where you've met them and all that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Tell them what you're doing, tell them your project. Like, hi, it's so great to, happy 2025,
Yeah.
I admire your work, and remember we hung out, blah, 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 or we know blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, and I'm doing this project, and I'd love to, I'm interviewing, I'm hoping to interview all these people, and your name is right among some of the great designers that we've got going today, or whatever, whatever. And can we schedule a time when I could call and talk? I'm happy to send you the questions in advance. And I'm thinking of like you could say a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Like that. And then maybe as you're talking, if you realize, there's so many things that you could say, is there a time when I can follow up? But just record the conversation and then transcribe it. But send them the questions in advance. No one wants to feel like, uh-oh, she's going to ask me about that time that I'm thinking of lighting design, like Chris Ackerland. Uh-oh. I can think of some time that he was like, don't ask me about that one, but you want to make sure that, right? So, I mean, Chris Ackerland is just a great lighting designer, and he makes me laugh all the time. That's why. But so just be upfront, be gracious, and I love how you talk with your hand. You talk when you talk, your hands are moving and telling a story as if it's really beautiful. It's like they're dancing. It's really cool. But so I would just email them and just ask them to hang out with you you can do Zoom. That's a lot of people like that, and you can record. Always that, is it okay that I record? We record, tell them it's going to be recorded and it's going to be in a book or a pamphlet, and and how much you enjoy teaching and mentoring, and you'd like to share that with other people, blah, 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 like that. What do you think? Does that sound like I would do it? If I were a lighting designer, you asked me, I'd do it.
Yeah. No, that sounds really good. And that breaks it up in a nice, like, it's like, oh yeah, that's not an overwhelming amount of information to receive in an email. That feels far more simple than I was thinking. My second question, just because we're here for advice now, is I have two instincts. One, because I procrastinate a lot, my instinct is to just send all the emails out at once so that can be checked off my list. My second instinct is to send the email out in 2 batches. First, a batch that is to the people I know really well and would be surprised if they said no to me. And then that way in the second email, it could be like, here are some people that are already part of this project, to give it a sort of like, I don't know, for the people who are 1 degree away. So there's like already a sense of name recognition to it. Do you think that's helpful, or is that just
Well, I think your process is probably the most interesting thing about the question. What's the next thing you procrastinate on? Like, you send out your emails and they write you back, and then you're going to procrastinate on writing them back. What's going to hang you up next? What's the next hurdle you have to jump over?
Emailing the back probably won't be too hard because I'll get excited about talking to them and hearing the stuff because that's the information I want. I think that the next hurdle would be if I do too many interviews And I don't know either A, who to credit, or B, what if I'm suddenly leaving someone who what if I have to leave somebody out because it's too much information? I wouldn't want someone to feel sad. Like sort of navigating the politics that may or may not even be there.
So don't navigate we don't need to navigate politics that may or may not be there. Just let's navigate the politics that are here.
I'm not always great at knowing what those are.
It's okay. It's whatever's right in front of you. Like right now, we're here.
Yeah.
And this is what we're navigating. This is it. This is all I'm doing. What am I doing right now? I'm talking to you. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Right.
true. If it's a
Okay.
thing, it'll come up and I'll know
It's-
about it then.
Right. Right. Like if a hawk flew in the like, oh my goodness. Okay, we deal with that, but we're not dealing with that now because it's not happening. I would make a list of your people, which sounds like you already have, right?
Yeah.
Email your favorite person. Just one
Yeah.
today. And then tomorrow, email the next person. Do one a day.
Yeah.
Shoot it out there.
Right. Because it's just a copy paste, but that way also I don't get 18 of them at one time in response.
Exactly. Don't
They're
do
all
that.
speed repliers.
Right. You just shoot it out there. And then when it comes back, you send them the questions, have a game plan, email them. Then when they respond, you send them the questions and ask them what a time would be. You just create a chart and then you get your calendar out and you start pasting in the times when you're going to talk to people.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really helpful.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Fun organizing projects. I love organizing projects. Because the workflow, it's like, okay, how am I going to get this done,
Hi, Timothy. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hey, everybody. Hey, SLP.
Hey,
How you
Timothy.
doing?
Well.
Good. I just wondered if we could get a refresher. I spent the latter half of last year, I had 3 unfinished projects and I managed to finish them all. So on the good, yeah, on the good side, yay. And now I'm like, okay, what do I work on now? So I remember we talked in the past about how to leave yourself open to ideas and things like that. And I was wondering if we could maybe roll through that as a refresher.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry.
when did you finish? Did you finish recently or did you finish?
Yeah, I set a goal to finish. I had 2 plays and a screenplay, and I had set a goal to finish them by the end of the summer, but the plays were done, and then I spent the rest of the year finishing the screenplay, which I
That's
finished
fantastic.
just before Christmas. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So do you feel like you've had enough of a holiday?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I guess, but on the other hand, I'm like, I, it. I feel like I have you mentioned embracing the practice and all that, and I feel like I've got now this has just become part of the thing, to write every day. But now I'm like I said, I'm a little like the cupboard feels empty, and I'm like what do I do now? Kind of thing.
Are there any books that you feel like reading other than
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
I got I mean, my desk here, I've got stacks of them. I mean, I got 6 books for Christmas, so yeah.
Read one of your Christmas presents. Open your presents. Enjoy your presents. Write a few thank you notes. The cupboard feels bare, so fill the cupboard with those books. Some of them, at least one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Read one of your books got for Christmas. And just allow yourself to just enjoy the success of having finished what you set out to finish. And then in a week or 2, we'll talk again. Part of finishing your projects, you have to have faith, right? You have to have faith to finish. And you also have to have the faith that takes to, congratulate yourself. You know, celebrate yourself. You have to have faith to celebrate too. You know, I'm sorry, Sasha. I'm looking in your background. Is that a cat or is it like
Cat.
a
I saw
ferret?
the cat too.
It
Yeah.
was like, whoa, what is that? Okay. I was like, yeah, I got a little scared. But anyway, Timothy, the faith to celebrate, knowing that, you know, good job, well done. You know, at the end of Star Wars, they all get medals except Chewbacca, but we're gonna forget that. But they all get medals, you know, and she would
Yeah.
go, oh,
Yeah.
no, right? They're all celebrated, you know. Enjoy that.
Okay.
And read at least one of those books
Okay.
that you got.
That
Yeah,
I can do.
there you go. And just be like,
Oh.
yeah. Pat yourself on
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
Go to the
Exactly.
spa, or you're in New York, go to the Russian baths or something, you know, whatever people do for fun. You know, like that. If you do that. I don't know.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, pal.
Thank you.
You.
Mhm, mhm,
2
mhm.
minutes. Wow. Just enough time for one more cute question.
Oh, cute. It has to be a cute question. Hello Kitty is 50 years old, people. And she's not a cat. Those things I
And
find
it's
out.
not a she.
Right. What is it? It?
It's a he.
It's a he?
He is not a cat. I know that changes everything.
Hello Kitty is not a cat. Well, wait a minute. Hello Kitty. I heard Hello Kitty's not a cat. Hello Kitty's a little girl, but does that mean it's not a she?
I think that when we find out the answer, we all die.
Speak
therefore,
for yourself.
We should
Speak
leave
for
it
yourself.
as 50 years. Yeah.
Speak
should
for
leave it
yourself, my
as-
darling.
We should leave it as the question for the universe, like
The
if
ages.
Congress died.
Yes.
Well, I heard that Hello Kitty is not a cat. She is a little girl. And that blew my mind. So she doesn't, but I don't know. It's a funny looking person thing.
Well, it's definitely misguiding marketing. I'll say that.
Well, I love it. I have so many little things. Anyway,
Okay, it's 6.
hello, Kitty. All right, people. It's the only way to deal with a day like today. And yeah,
Yeah. See you
It's
next
so good.
week.
it's
Take
so
care.
good. Woohoo! Okay, mwah, thank you. Bye.